Stop praying for the things that you already have and start claiming those things. Most of us believe that prayer is when you beg, when you ask, when you plead for something, when you petition. You beg your big daddy in the sky to give you whatever it is that your heart desires, not realizing that you have been given everything already. It's already within you. The strength that you're asking for is within, and all you have to do is claim it, name it, and speak life into it, then move on it. That's what that's about. Now, it's always funny to me when I look back at my old self and how I used to, let's say, pray for more faith, right? I used to say, please, God, just give me more faith. Give me more faith. I need more faith. But in reality, I was doing nothing with the faith that I had at that moment, right? I was not exercising what was already in me. I was not taking any active role within my own faith. Therefore, my faith couldn't grow, or it couldn't show itself. It couldn't develop. Now, think about this. When you go to the gym, let's say for the first time, do you ask for the muscle in order to lift the weight? Now, some people may think, well, yeah, I would ask for muscle. I'd hope to have muscle so I can lift the weight, but that's not how it works. You got to lift the weight in order to reveal or to get the muscle, to stimulate the muscle growth. That's how that works. You only need what is sufficient for that thing or that moment. And the only way we will get that thing or unlock that part, an aspect of ourselves, is by walking in it. So many of us are begging, not understanding universal principle, universal law. You attract what you are, or your vibrational equivalent, which means if I am in a state of lack, if I am believing and feeling and experiencing lack within myself, if I'm choosing to think lack-filled thoughts, then I'm attracting to myself circumstances, situations, people, interactions that are based in lack. That's universal law. I don't make the rules. I just disseminate the information, right? So we find ourselves in a place where we're literally manifesting and attracting things into our lives that are the very opposite of what we actually want. We say we're praying all the time. I'm just praying so hard about this. Yeah, but you're praying from a posture of weakness. Therefore, you're attracting the very opposite of what you desire. Again, if I'm thinking to myself, poverty, poverty, but I'm declaring, please bring me wealth, and it's triggering a poverty feeling and a consciousness, then I can only attract the thing that I am in resonance with. That's how that works. I wish it was another way. Like, we have been trained and taught into believing that if we just beg for something, we throw enough of a tantrum about something, that we're going to get answers. Like when you did that, maybe mama got you the thing, right? You finally threw a big enough tantrum and she got so embarrassed with you that she finally got you the thing, or they felt so guilty that they finally bought you the thing. Well, guess what? The universe don't play like that. Not this one, not the one we live in. Maybe a parallel universe, but not this one right here, right? This one that we live in with principles and laws in place, this one says you must become the thing and then you get the thing. And I'm not talking about, oh, you become wealthy, so wear the suit, right? Like, yeah, if that brings you a feeling or it brings you into a certain state, then sure. But what it's saying is within yourself, you have to cultivate the feeling, the emotion, that place, that space. That's why things such as gratitude are so vital. That's why gratitude matters, because it literally gets us in a different level of consciousness and a different level of vibration. We are literally giving off a different energy, right? When you're grateful, you're in an energy of I have, which is abundance. Therefore, you bring more abundance into your own life experience. But when you're in a state of scarcity, oh no, what am I going to do? Oh no, things ain't working out. Let me throw up a prayer real quick. You are still in that same lack-filled state. And this goes for everything. This ain't just talking about, your wallet or your career, whatever it may be. This is in relationships, right? This is in the fellowship with people in your life. This is in the intimate relationships within the house or within the bedroom. All of this applies. Lord, please just bring me a man. Please just bring me a woman. Please just bring. And then you feel that lack and deprivation, and that's exactly what you walk in. But when you declare something, when you begin to feed something, believe into that thing, and you walk as that thing, it's so different. And it doesn't look like these long, drawn out, dramatic prayers for everybody to listen to and see and hear. Sometimes it's as simple and as plain as it is done. Like for me, that is one of the most powerful statements that I resonate with, right? It is done. As soon as I have a thought about something and maybe I find myself a little cautious, or is this going to work out? I just remind myself, no, it's done. It is done. And I continue about my work. I continue about whatever I'm doing in that moment. If it's a conversation with a loved one, I continue on in the conversation and enjoy the conversation and be fruitful and give my entire self to that conversation. As opposed to, oh no, I need to, then you work from that place of anxiety. Now you're running from the world and you're trying to run to the things that you think are going to be the answer, right? And yes, there is an aspect that is, unknown. The unknown is how things will unravel themselves. And that's the pleasure and the joy of life. You don't know how the thing is going to unfold, but if you have a directed focus of attention and intention, which is mind and emotion, and you continue to fixate in that space in a higher vibrational state, I promise you, you will not be able to help yourself but to attract the beauty, the goodness of life in so many different ways, in ways you couldn't fathom. Because you think one thing is going to make you happy, and your subconscious mind, which, your universal mind, understands that there are things that are part of you, deep desires that you may have even forgotten, parts that are a part of your authentic and true self that will make you far more satisfied. An example for me, right? There was a moment when I was deciding, damn, do I take a job just to hold me over for a little bit? Do I do this? And then it really clicked to me and it said, okay, let's say you get that job, right? Are you actually going to be satisfied in that? Or are you going to be more satisfied in doing what you're doing right now and letting the opportunities unfold? And I made that seemingly unrealistic jump of I'm going to do what I love. And as soon as I made that decision, things started manifesting, opportunities for more money, right? People start hitting me up. People who had never hit me up or old clients start hitting me up and wanting to work with me doing what I do now. And that is an example of when you operate the faith, you're going to get more of it. You develop it because it's in you. It's within you. All of it. The kingdom has been placed within you. Everything is inside of you right here, right now. And you have to be willing to go within and to unlock those aspects as opposed to sitting around and begging, some ethereal old man on a cloud or whatever imaginations that you have of somebody out there who's going to come down and save you from your situation. And you're actually better off for it because you are the one who is in dominion. You're in power. You have authority over these situations in your life. But yet here you are. You've been taught by your preacher, your teacher, your deacon, your rabbi, your imam. You must pray. You must petition. You must beg until you get the thing, right? Knock until the door is answered. When you hear stuff like knock until the door is answered, if you really read into the esoteric or the deeper metaphysical meaning of that, you would understand that it is saying continue to believe, continue to see the thing, right? Continue to see yourself in and as the thing, and the thing will become. But instead, we're here begging, we're here pleading, we're here crying out, I hope this works, I hope this works, please, please, please. And guess what? We're pushing the thing further and further. We're holding it outside the door. Like when we have a desire, it's delivered to us like UPS, or not UPS, but like Amazon through UPS, right? Next day delivery is right outside the door. But if you don't open the door, you will never get your delivery package. If you don't open that door, you're not going to get whatever was sent to you. And that's the very same way within our desires. We have a desire, the thing is sent to us in the spirit, in the unseen realm per se, right? In idea, in concept, it's already there. But if we don't claim it, if we don't walk in it, it's going to stay outside the door and we will not enjoy it. And we can cry and beg and plead all we want, but until we open that door, we will not have the thing. And so it is our job, our responsibility as human beings, as these wonderful, magnificent creatures that were created, the image and likeness, the Embardego, the image and likeness of the Creator, the infinite, as one with all, we have the power within us. It's already been bestowed upon you. Everything you need is in you already. You want strength? Claim it. Walk in it. Practice it. Show it. Demonstrate it. When you feel fear, look at fear. Directly look at fear. Now, I'm not talking about danger. I'm not talking about, you run into the grizzly bear, look at the, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just fear. The feeling that something will go wrong. The fear of an undesired outcome. Look it in the face and say, I am stronger than you. I am bigger than you. You will not defeat me. I have the power here and now. I have the authority to speak into this thing. And in that moment, fear will dissipate. As you move into that thing that you fear the most, the fear dissipates. I had a situation in my life that I feared for most of my life, right? And it was a conversation. A conversation that I feared having, a truth that I feared exposing about myself. And yet when I faced it and just said, you know what, tell the truth about this thing. The opportunity was presented. I told the truth, and I felt a freedom that I could not describe to any living, well, maybe unliving being, right? The ones who've transcended or are about to come through. I cannot explain to y'all in words the type of freedom I experienced. It's like fear no longer had a hold on me, period. Now, do I feel, sometimes worry or whatever it may be? Yeah, momentarily. But I realize I'm bigger than that because I've exercised my strength or my power, my faith at the highest levels now that it can't do nothing to me. And so when you face those things, you are going to be unstoppable. I promise you that. But you have to walk in it. You have to walk in it. Stop making excuses. Stop putting on God and the devil. Stop making excuses. You talking about, oh, is this person? Oh, if it just wasn't for the devil making my life this. No, you're the one who's stopping yourself. You're the only one who can do something about your situation. You're the one stopping. Oh, I'm just waiting on God's timing. No, you're making excuses. You're making excuses. You're stopping yourself in your own tracks. You're making excuses. There's nobody who's going to come down and tap you on the shoulder and be like, now is the perfect time. Like, it's been the perfect time. The fact that you're here on earth means it's the perfect time. Like, you were sent here in this very time period as you are in this carnation for a reason. Because you are here to fulfill a purpose. And that purpose is going to give you fulfillment. It's going to enlarge in your territory, right? And it's also going to bless those around you. And these are all things that you desire. You desire these things. You desire these things. And yet all of them on the other side of this fear that you have. And you're making excuses by sitting there in these prayers of petition and asking and begging and begging and begging and begging. That's not true prayer. I don't know who taught you that version. I know who taught me. There was a multitude of people taught me because they didn't know any better. They just did not know. They literally thought that's how it worked. Instead of declaration, this is what I'm standing in, this is what I'm walking in, this is what it is. I'm going to call it as it is. I'm going to name the thing as it is. This is mine. I declare this is mine. Success is mine. I am success. I am the embodiment of success. Are you kidding me? I've already won. It is done. It is done. It is done. Wait, people leave comments sometimes and I love it. And they say, these videos need to have so many more views. Like, I don't understand, why they only have, they should have, 100,000, you should have 1 million subs. And I'm like, yeah, it is done. I'm walking in it. I'm in my path right now because I finally decided to walk in it. Now you're just seeing it unfold. You're just seeing the manifestation of it. We're going to blink and you're going to see, oh my goodness, he went from the 2,000 subs to 2 million in a blink of an eye. Because I'm walking in it now. I'm walking in my purpose and I'm unapologetic about it. And I'm not holding back. And I'm not begging for anything. No longer begging. I don't need to beg because it is done. Even when I look at my food, I say, this food is good for me. This food is blessed already. It's blessed because it's on my plate. We think that it's these words that are doing something, but it's the intention. It's the emotionality. It's the feeling behind it. It's where your spirit is resonant. If you are in a fearful state, but you're saying words that sound confident, forget about it. Doing you nor anybody else any good. Forget about it. Like, immediately, just forget about it. Write it off. Like taxes, just write it off. But once you get yourself in a place where you remember who you are, you remember that power within you, right? You stop buying into the narrative of powerlessness and you step into that true personal power. It's a wrap. It's done. It is done. Period. Period. Now look, because this is my video and I can do whatever I want, I'm about to give y'all guys an opportunity to join my course or get a copy of my book. Now, I recently wrote and published a book titled Doing Me Guilt Free, and I actually put out a course, an entire program built around these principles that actually guides you through step by step. So I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to either get yourself enrolled into the course or get yourself a copy of this book immediately by clicking the description below. But besides that, y'all, I'm done with this pretending and believing and feeling as if we are some sort of helpless beings and some sort of happenstance, randomized, coincident. Like, nah, bro. The odds of you being here are 1 in 70 trillion. I believe that's the number. 1 in 70 trillion. The odds of you being here with all factors considered, plus or minus some. 1 in 70 trillion. You can't count to a trillion. You can barely count to a billion, let alone a trillion. And that's you here. There is obviously a purpose as to why you're here. There's obviously power and potential. There's obviously potency within you. There has to be. And even you, the religious person, you say the image and likeness. What do you think that means? You think you're like the toe of God or something, right? You think you're like the toenail? No, you are the full embodiment, the image and likeness of all, of the creator, of the infinite, of source. Start acting like it for once. And this isn't me talking to you from a soapbox. This is me talking to you because this is me. Like, this is a message for me. This is a message I need to hear every single day. Start acting like who you actually are. Start acting like what you actually are. Do you know who you are? If you don't, remember who you are. That's going to be your job. If you do not remember or know who you are, get to a place where you remember the power that's within you and don't stop. Be relentless in the search, that internal search of who you truly are. And once you discover it, I promise you there's no going back. Like for myself, it's relentless at this point. You know, y'all see me cranking out content nonstop, doing this, writing the books, creating the courses, going out speaking, all these things. And you think to yourself, well, how is he doing it? Bruh, I can't not do it. It's the power vested in me that is moving mountains, period. The faith in me that's already been in me, not the one I had to go and ask for. It's in me. It's in me already. I don't need belief. Me and Coach Bobby Bluford talk about this. Shout out to Coach Bobby. Make sure to check out his channel immediately. We're talking about this, and we talk about this actually quite often, is like we no longer speak of things from belief, right? Those part of his like 5 Steps to Greatness program. We no longer necessarily say belief. We say no, right? Because you go from thinking to believing, and then from believing to knowing. And you go from belief to know when you experience it and you live as it, right? So I think it's because maybe I've heard of I've seen. I believe because I've maybe tasted, I've experienced it a little bit, right? Or I can see how that's possible and I've seen it in others, so I believe it. But when I know something, it's because I have personal experience. I know like I know. There's no doubt about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Nothing in between. I just know. I know this is mine. I know that success is inevitable for me. Why? Oh, it's because you have people in your corner. You got people supporting you. Guess what? When I started, there was crickets. There was nobody here. This channel had nobody here. Nobody was listening. I was the one listening. I was the only audience member at a certain point in time. Just like any other channel I had, right? The only one. I was staring at a blank page. There was nothing on that page. Then I wrote a manuscript and another one, and I didn't put them out because I still didn't believe in myself as an author. But as soon as I bought into myself, as soon as I bought into that true personal, that internal power, I call it personal power because it is yours, right? It's not power over somebody else. It's internalized power. It's the power that has already been vested within you. It's already there. It cannot go anywhere. It is forever stationed in you. It don't matter what you do. You can try anything you want. You will not get rid of it. You cannot use it, right? There's a difference. It's like the ocean is always going to have water. You know, it can maybe not use the water. I don't know if that's a good analogy. If it makes sense to you, it makes sense to you. It makes sense to me, right? It can use the water or not, but it's always going to be water there. That's just what it's going to be. For you, you have these gifts, these talents, this brilliance that's within you, this greatness that's within you, this power, this potency that's within you. Whether you use it or not is up to you. Whether you live a life believing you're powerless or not is up to you. And if you allow other people to continue to perpetuate their messaging into your brain cells, into your brain stem, into your neural pathways, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You're going to feel powerless. You're going to be walking around this life without power, as opposed to living guilt-free, doing you guilt-free. That should be the goal right there. Doing me guilt-free is the goal. Walking through life unapologetically, completely and absolutely myself, regardless of how anybody else feels about it. Oh, I don't like you no more. You changed. Good. Thank you very much. And thank you for making my process easier. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Now, my laptop is on red. I thought it was plugged in. I'm trying to see what's happening here. See, speaking of power, make sure you're plugged into your power source, y'all. Make sure you're plugging into your power source. That's a bar right there. Make sure you're meditating. Make sure you're getting into your journaling. You got to do these things, y'all. I don't know how anybody lives in this modern day and age without having a meditative practice, a true meditative practice, reflective. I'm not talking about, maybe you can do guided or whatever it is, but I believe in silent meditation. Be in that silence. Be okay with silence. There's a quote, one of my favorite quotes of all time. Still can't pronounce the dude's name who said it, but he's a French philosopher. And he says, most of man's problems come from the fact that he cannot sit in a room by himself, or mankind cannot sit in a room alone in silence. That's where most of our problems come from. And think about it, in this generation, we never have to be alone. We can be with our phone all day, every day. We can plug up. Right? We can have the podcast playing the entire day. I just talked to, one of my close homegirls. I said, look, I know there's brilliance in you. I know there's something in you. I know what's in you. But I want to hear your true and authentic voice. Stop listening to all these podcasts, these books. Stop digesting this stuff and see who you truly are, what your true voice is. What is your opinion when nobody else's opinions are inundating you? What do you believe when you have other people's beliefs removed from you? That's what I'm interested in. That's what the world needs from you. That's what life needs from you. It needs originality. And originality doesn't come from going to the seminar talking about originality. That might guide you, right? Even for me, I understand my programs are a part of the process, but they are not the process and finality. The process in and of itself is to go within and to do that work. What's the work? What's this work? That's a bunch of crock. Some people, they really think internal work is just an excuse for not doing the physical manual labor. Yet in truth, all the manual labor in the world will mean nothing if you do not do that internal work. It's like an example I always use. Well, always, I only use it once, but I'm going to use it a few more times. Probably a few hundred times now because it's fire. So let's say you are let's say you're a skinny kid growing up. This is what it is. Let's say you were skinny when you were growing up and you felt very insecure about your body. You just felt very insecure overall. So you told yourself, I'm going to put on weight. As soon as I can get in the weight room, I'm going to put on weight. As soon as I get in the gym, I'm going to put on some weight. I'm put on some real muscle. And so you spend the next 5 years just cranking it out, grinding. And you find yourself in a place where you're now muscular, right? Now, if you have not taken care of that internal insecurity that started you on that journey, you will not only be muscular, but you will be muscular and insecure. You see, the musculature does not take care of the insecurity. The insecurity stems from something else. It stems from something much deeper. It stems from a belief system that you are not good enough as you are. So sometimes the muscle can even be a reflection of that very same insecurity, because maybe the girls on you, maybe people are paying you attention, but you believe they're paying attention to you only because you have muscle, not for who you are. So now you're thinking to yourself, man, am I really loved, or are they just loving what I look like? It's the same thing with dudes who use their money as a means to get to women, right? You will never truly know whether or not they love you for you. And if you have not taken care of those internal aspects, if you have not faced those insecurities and dealt with those, you will carry those forward even into your wealth. And you'll think to yourself, man, maybe if I didn't have this, they wouldn't be with me. Maybe if I didn't have this, they wouldn't love me. And you'll think it's the money's fault when it's really not. What it is you have not looked internally. You have not dealt with those aspects. And that's why I believe this message is so vital for us. We have to pay the most attention to this here. We have to do that work. We have to go within. We have to introspect. We can't run from it. You can't run from this one. I promise you that. Trust me, I tried. I spent the better half of a decade running. The better half. I mean, like 9 out of the 10 years running until I couldn't run anymore. And it caught up with me, and I finally had to face it. I finally had to heal through it. And then life began for me. At that moment is when I actually started living. And that's what I want for you guys. That's my greatest intention for you guys, is to reclaim that internal power. I want you guys to be able to walk in true prayer, declaration, power, which comes from a recognition, an inner knowing. You have to remember who you are. And it's not some people. You look at Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, and Tyler Perry, and you think to yourself, wow, greatness. No, that's you. That's a reflection of what is within you. You are the greatness. It is within you. It is within every single one of us. It's not just that person up there. I don't care what your parents told you, what teachers told you, whatever, right? They were in their own insecure spaces. They were in their own places of non-belief. They didn't believe they could, so they put that on you. But that was never your path. Your path was always for greatness. Always. Always, always, always. Always has been, always will be. Even if you're Colonel Sanders and you're 50 some years old, almost 60 years old, and you're finally starting your chicken chain, right? You finally sold your recipe to whoever it is that bought it and licensed it. And now you have KFC. Like, I don't care how old you are listening to this. I don't care how young you are. I don't really care who you are, where you're from, what you do, what you believe. All I know is that the only way that your prayers will be answered is when you are praying from a place of power. Declaration. Now, maybe you want to know, what does that look like? What does that sound like? Easy. Me declaring power says, I know who I am and I know whose I am, right? I know what I'm capable of. And so I might say, this is mine. This is already mine. Whatever I'm doing, I can do it. Whatever it is, I will learn it. If I don't know it at this point, it's going to come to me and I will learn it because I've been able to learn a multitude of things. See, that sounds just like talking yourself into something, but that's true prayer, right? Now, some might be more vigorous. Some might say, I'm declaring that this is mine. This win is mine. It's over. It's absolute. There's nobody who can beat me. See, this is sounding like, oh, that's positive thinking. That's exactly what it is, because we are always consistently and perpetually in a state of prayer. We are always in a state of prayer. We are always in a conversation with God. We are always in a conversation with our spirit continuously. And if you are not able to switch that conversation into the empowering, powerful, powerful, powerful light switch that just sparks your entire life, you're going to live in the darkness. And that's going to be a choice. Nobody else can make that for you. Just like nobody else can lift the weight for you, nobody else can do this work for you. All right? So again, for everybody out there, if you're in a place where you're looking or desire to go from that powerless place into a place of true personal power, make sure to get yourself a copy of my book and get yourself enrolled in my course immediately. That's what that's about. Appreciate you guys. Much love. Peace.